Hey, how's it going, everyone? Saintsfan back again with another GTA Online video. And is the Hunter the best aircraft now in the game? That's the question that we're hopefully going to be answering by the end of this video, as well as should you buy it. And look, spoiler alert, yes, this thing is like a must-own vehicle of GTA Online, and I'll show you guys why in this video, so hopefully you guys do enjoy. Now, if you've been following my channel, I have made a few videos on the Hunter explaining why it is so good. But since this is the review, let's talk about some of those reasons again. We'll start with the pros first, because the list is very, very long. First off, I would kind of consider the price a pro. Yeah, the buy it now price is 4.1 million, but if you complete 42 smuggler run missions, then it becomes 3.1. And $3.1 million for what this thing offers is a great deal, considering the Vigilante is more, has less armor, has less weapon capabilities. The Hydra is only $100,000 less, and it doesn't even have flares. It can get blown up in 1 or 2 shots from a explosive sniper or a homing launcher. So the Hunter is better than those, at least in just terms of what we get. So for the price tag, it's a very, very good deal. Another thing about this helicopter, the armor is insanely good. Usually when Rockstar give us some sort of weaponized aircraft or offensive vehicle, they limit how many explosives it can take. Normally, like the Vigilante, if it's super good in terms of offensive power, it'll get blown up very easily. But this is the complete opposite. It takes 4 homing missiles or RPGs or explosives to blow this thing up. Now, it only takes 3 to destroy it, but that is actually very, very good compared to every other aircraft in the game. And the best part, since this thing doesn't blow up when it gets destroyed, you can bail without dying. And I love how they added that to it, because normally when a helicopter or aircraft gets hit by a homing missile, it will get destroyed and blow up instantly, which means you're gonna die. But this one, it actually gives you an opportunity to bail before someone blows you up. But that's not the only good part about the armor. In terms of explosive bullets, this thing can take 7 before it blows up. Now, the first shot, you will notice that your helicopter will start smoking. It has the white smoke, and I think over time that will progress into the darker smoke, which means your helicopter will get more damage and eventually stop working. But after that first shot, it actually takes 5 more before you get the notification that says your vehicle has been destroyed. And then on the 7th shot, it will blow up. So 1 shot to white smoke it, 6 shots, explosive bullet shots, to get the notification that says it's destroyed, and then on the 7th one, it will blow up. So that is another reason why this helicopter is so good. The armor is fantastic. And like I was saying, this thing is not lacking in terms of weaponry. It has so many ways to kill people. It's got the homing missiles, it's got the barrage missiles, it's got the gunner explosive cannon, and it's got the bombs that you can drop from it. And those bombs are actually pretty powerful on this aircraft, because players, you can't aim straight up in the air. And since you're a helicopter and not a plane, you can almost hover over someone, which means they can't shoot you. And that's very, very powerful if you are a good helicopter pilot. Now, going to the gunner, some people I've seen had some worries about the sensitivity of the gunner camera, and I found it to be perfect. It's actually very quick and very responsive, but it's not too responsive. So I think a lot of people will like this, and I think a lot of people will find it fairly easy to use. And honestly, the Hunter with a pilot and a co-pilot is very, very deadly. Now, for handling and in terms of customization and all that, handling, it's really subjective, but I found that the smooth handling is probably the best. You could go race, but you are going to be a little bit more twitchy, and you could leave it stock, but again, you're not going to be as able to move around as you would if you upgrade that. You may just have to mess around with that to find which one suits you better. But in terms of customization, I mean, there's nothing too great. The liveries are fairly good, but they're kind of the same. There isn't much to differentiate themselves between each other, so that kind of sucks. The primary paint job is a good spot. The secondary paint job is on the nose, so that's kind of cool. And it's got all the other standard upgrades that you get: engine, armor, and of course, either the flares or the chaff system or the smoke if you want to go that route. One other thing though, regarding the Hunter, at least compared to the Buzzard, it actually has a higher top speed. Now the acceleration, I'll give it to the Buzzard, just because the way the Hunter works, when you hold the right trigger, the front actually goes up instead of down like the Buzzard. But if you can control that by just basically tapping the right trigger, if you just hit it once and then, you know, continue to hit it instead of holding it down, then the Hunter goes pretty damn fast. In terms of agility, you may still give that to the Buzzard just because that's sort of where acceleration comes into play with helicopters, but the Hunter is definitely up there, at least compared to the Buzzard in that regard. And then the final thing, it does take up a medium slot in your hangar. So if you're wondering, it's not a small, it's not a large, it's medium. Now with all the pros out the way, let's get into some of the cons. So one thing I noticed, and you may notice this too, even if your armor is at 100%, guns will make this thing smoke pretty quickly. At least the police guns do. I mean, I don't think many players are going to be shooting at you with MGs or something, so you're not going to really have to worry about them too much. But if you're doing a lot of 5-star evades from the cops, you're going to get a lot of the helicopters that come after you and a lot of the SWAT that shoot at you, and they really don't miss. So you may find that gets annoying a little bit. Your helicopter will definitely start smoking if you're in those police chases. Also, the durability when you're crashing into stuff is not very good. I mean, that's to be expected. Don't crash into stuff. Like, as long as you're a good pilot, you won't have to worry about that. But it is something I figured I'd mention. It's not like the Bombushka where you can crash it into anything and survive with absolutely no scratches. Another thing regarding the weapons, at least with the Barrage, the weapon blast radius isn't very large. And obviously that's to balance it out, but just know you have to be somewhat precise with those missiles. And then the final one, this is, I don't want to say a pro, but it's not really a con either, so that's why I'm just leaving it to the end. Chaff versus flares. Now, in my first video on the Hunter, I mentioned that the chaff might actually be a better option than the flares just because of what it can do and what's in the game. The flares only stop a missile that gets shot at you, and it's only one missile. But the thing is, in the game, we have so many vehicles like the Oppressor, like the Hunter, like the Vigilante, like the Ruiner 2000, that can spam homing missiles at you. So by using the flare, you can only get rid of one of those missiles. And if they just keep spamming them one after the other, one of them is bound to hit you. Where the chaff, theoretically at least, you would deploy it before their missile is shot, like once you hear the beeping, and then no missile could lock onto you for the next 5 to 10 seconds. I don't actually know how long it is, but it'll give you enough time so where you can get away. And in theory, that's great. The chaff is better. But here's what actually happens. In the game, there are many vehicles, like the ones I just mentioned, which have missiles that can be fired as soon as the lock-on box appears. So it doesn't need to be read. It doesn't actually need to lock onto you fully. And the missile will still track the target. And as a result of that, the person in the aircraft would basically need superhuman reactions or reflexes to deploy the chaff system. When me and my friend were just testing it out, the second I heard that beeping, I deployed the chaff as quick as I could, and the missiles still hit me. So I would almost say chaff is just kind of useless in the game. It could be that you just have to play with it for a couple of weeks so you can get used to it, but I just found it very, very difficult to get the chaff to work properly. So I would just say use the flares and hope that the spamming missiles coming at you just don't hit. But again, that is personal preference. I'm just telling you guys what I have noticed by playing with the Hunter, with the chaff versus the flares. And even though the armor on this thing is good, you don't want to get hit by those missiles because you don't want to start smoking. So it is something that I thought was important, and I did just want to bring it up. You guys can let me know in the comment section what you guys think between the chaff versus the flares. Let me know which one you guys think is the best, but in my opinion, I would just go with the flares because they're much easier to have them work properly. But there you guys have it. That is the video. To answer the question, should you buy it? Yes, 100% you should buy it. And is it the best new aircraft in the game? I would say yeah. There's really not much that can compare to what this thing offers for the price, how much armor it has, how many weapons it has, and the fact that your gunner, your co-pilot, can have fun as well. So that is my opinion. I am doing a shark card giveaway. Don't know if I mentioned that, for $3.5 million. So you can get a free Hunter if you win. The link to that is in the description. It's on my Twitter, so go check that out if you are interested. But thank you all for watching. Please drop video like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more awesome GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.